Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, it's time for a update and report from the littlest Mo you know, Little Mo. I am that same said Little Mo, and this is the Mo you know with Little Mo here on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all the ships at seas. Flash! We're not going to talk about movie posters today, even though I do talk about movie posters quite very often. I have other obsessions, such as, say, music. And when the twain do meet, like on this wonderful 1956 original, first released 1957 British quad original film poster for Don't Knock the Rock, starring Bill Haley, Little Richard, Alan Freed, and the much underestimated and fantastic doo-wop group The Tren Years. Well, when the twain shall meet, I am a very happy fellow. This is not for sale. This is mine, all mine, and I'm just showing off. Hello. I have had a long, long weekend. It's Tuesday evening, and I arrived back home yesterday afternoon after spending all weekend long and then a couple more days at Las Vegas's own New Orleans Casino, or the Orleans Casino, if you will, for the number 29 Viva Las Vegas Rockabilly Music Festival. It's a rock festival that's taken place for, well, 29 years for the last 31, barring a few times off for COVID, at the Gold Coast Casino and then at the Orleans Casino, run by Tom Ingram. Well, this year I was booked to play on the main stage with my wonderful doo-wop octet Little Mo and the Dynaflows on Thursday night, opening night. So me and my pal and co-founder of the group, Cliff Kwan, drove on out on Thursday and made good time, despite the fact that there was a fatal accident involving three large trailer trucks outside of Baker. We got past that eventually, and prayers and thoughts there, that's for certain. More drama to follow, but not too bad from then on in. We got there, checked in. The hotel rooms at the Orleans were undergoing a massive amount of construction. Half of the hallways' carpets were brand new, but you could definitely tell where they were not. It was ugly. You got into your room, and half of the time your AC didn't work. Half of the time your sink drain was clogged. Half of the time your safe wouldn't close. Step up your game, Orleans. We kind of need you to step it up if we want to stick around at your casino. Not that we're any great loss, I'm sure, but we do bring about 40,000 people into your parking lot just on Saturday alone for this event. There's many other thousands roaming around and spending money at your craps tables, your easy craps and your crapless craps, all weekend long. Anyway, we hit the stage at 9:30 that night, and we were all nerves aflutter. It was Shannon Mack, our newest member's first time on the main stage of Viva Las Vegas, and I would estimate that we had about 3,000 people in the room. We've maxed out there at 4,000 before, a couple years back. But this year, despite selling more tickets online, political and financial reasons certainly caused a large amount of friends that we know not to make the trip in the long run, especially from overseas. It's just too darn expensive to travel, and there's hassles that may come along with traveling in this political upheaval time of year, of period in our life, if you will. So, not a sold out show, but a maximum capacity for the crowd that was there for the entire weekend. Played a 50-minute set. It was fantastic. We debuted a few new songs, including our cover of the Crossfires cover of the Donna and Dewey song, Justine, which I think went over like gangbusters. We were brought on for an encore. Big Sandy called me Big Mo, and I called him Little Sandy, or let me see, he called me son, and I called him Pa. I think we're working on our sitcom for NBC, not broadcast company, no. After that, we went out and saw some of our friends perform. We caught Marshall Scott Warner, who's a fantastic Northwestern performer, and Bodie Corbett, who is local now to Los Angeles, and you should catch him and his trio as well. We stayed up too late. We got to bed eventually. Woke up in the around 11:30 on Friday morning. People were staggering around, already hungover. But once again, because of the lack of crowd, you could actually make your way through on both floors of the event quite easily. I started a new tradition, no, well, an old tradition I brought back from the early days of Viva Las Vegas, say numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. People would stagger around the vendors' rooms, sit down with a cup of joe or maybe an afternoon beer, and just start singing with each other. Members of the fabulous Harmonaires, rest in peace, Scotty, Big Sandy, Vicky Tafoya, rest in peace. Members of the Harmonaires. Let me see if I got this right. The Harmonaires are from England. The fabulous. I am losing my brain. Excuse me. Anyway, lots of good people, members of Royal Crown Review, would show up, and we just find our way around classic standards like Earth Angel or Get a Job or Come Go With Me and stuff like that. Find a couple parts of harmony and have a good time. Well, it's been a while since that was seen at Viva Las Vegas, but I brought it back, and I'm happy to say for 2 hours, we had about 50 people at any given time, more or less, singing, howling at the moon, making all the wrong notes, because I certainly was making my share as well after that long night on stage the night before. A little bird has now confidentially whispered in my ear that I facilitized a sort of a traffic jam there in the hallway up right above the elevators and the escalators. And I want to apologize for the Orleans Casino for that. I had no idea it would gather anywhere near the amount of people that were there. And if I get the honor to do it again next year, I will certainly inquire with anybody who's in charge of talent where to do that best, because the singing was fun. A lot of people were enthusiastic about it. After that, I started catching some of the acts that were happening, like my friend from Los Angeles, Danny Colaci, and her band Danny and the Delinquents, with wonderful Matty Boy and Jack Johnson, and Danny's own father, and of course, a Taro Guitaro on guitar. They played a wonderful set in the Bienville room, and then they were followed by the Centuries in that same said room, and Mozzie D played, and she's a wonderful, wonderful performer. Angela Teeny was up at around, I think, 9:30 or 10 on the main stage. And myself and the other three Dynaflows vocalists, Mark, Cliff, and Shannon, were honored to join her to perform the track that we recorded for her brand new album, just out this last week and available on red wax. It's fantastic looking. It looks like a vintage album cover. In other words, it's got a ring circle wear on the front of the album cover already printed on top. After that, right after that, was Big Sandy's Rhythms and Blues show, an extravaganza of many, many, many vocalists from across the world, really, singing standards, getting harmony backups, and it was a wonderful, just R&B show. It was great. The end of the night for me was poignant, was emotional, was down in the piano bar on the first floor of the casino, and it was a tribute to the already mentioned Miss Vicky Tafoya, who passed away last year in between the festivals and had been a mainstay of Viva since the very first. She had been going out to Las Vegas conventions for retro roots music conventions probably before Viva Las Vegas 1, but certainly the same year she went out to the only historical doo-wop festival of the same size and nature. There's videos of it. Vicky Tafoya. It's called One Woman versus 30 Men Singing Bathroom Doo-wop Las Vegas. If you type in those things on YouTube, you will be shocked and stunned by how she owns these men. And we got to sing 2 songs with a bunch of our friends and with her original band filled with her best friends, the Big Beach. Want to shout out to Matt and everybody in the band for letting us join them. There was phenomenal talent up there, from Giselle to Jennifer Keith. All these people, Laura Palmer, just great singers, mostly female leads, but also Big Sandy took the reins as well. And it was very touching to see how many people spilled out and took over the first floor of one whole side of the casino, celebrating her. Excuse me, I got a lot of singing done this week, and I'm feeling it. So Saturday, car show is the main thing to look forward to. You're gonna go outside, you're gonna need your sunblock, you're gonna need your chapstick. It is a Vegas dust storm, and it was a specifically dusty one this weekend. Perhaps the third worst weather for the car show I can recollect. And I've been to all of the Viva Las Vegases except for number one. It was it was still a great outside event with Giselle being one of the first acts I caught. And I tell you what, I have known Giselle of Wild Records fame for a very long time, definitely over 20 years. I used to play park shows for free with her, and we were both kind of younger, and she's always been younger than me. And she was a talent then, but she is an amazing talent now. Let me tell you, she has a voice like Etta James times two. Yeah, I said that. I know it's almost sacrilegious, but Giselle, forgive me. I just love you, and I love your talent. There were other great performances like the Scandinavian Rockabilly Classic Boys and Girls. The Go Getters played. Peter and his boys ripped it up with the stand up drums and vocalist. I believe it was a tribute. I was roaming around and talking to a lot of people. But Peter and I go way, way back to the jam sessions in the piano bar back at the Gold Coast Casino, to the Green Bay, Wisconsin Oneida Indian Reservation Casino week-long festivals of roughly 20 years ago, where he chased me through the hallway while I was only clad in a towel, screaming Woodpecker Rock, the Rockabilly Classic song, at me, as I was trying to find some protection, and I'll leave it at that. Anyway, they did a great set. I caught Pachuco Jose later on that night inside. He's a great old Los Angeles friend, and we have supported each other in Europe and all over America. Cave Cat Sammy blew me away again. And this is after not seeing them for roughly 12 to 15 years. These Texas boys have reunited. They have some new stuff and, of course, some classic tunes. It was great. Speaking of reuniting with old friends who have inspired me, I want to say that Joey Simeone was there at the end at the Vicky Tafoya tribute as well, and did a great cover of a Beatles song that was rumored to be Vicky's favorite Beatles song. She loved the Beatles. Joey fronts a classic band called the Bell Furies. And what I didn't know about Joey is that not only is he talented immensely and live out close to me now, we grew up within miles of each other in Cleveland, Ohio. We were name dropping and laughing so much before both heading on stage the other night. Oh, back to Saturday though. Big Sandy did a set as well, and then, which was fantastic. I got all my friends in there. And then there was the Guitar Geek show at midnight. That's when all the maestros of roots, rock, six string, and more playing get together and show off some wizardry that they've been preparing for almost 12 months, some of them. Jorge Herrado was there doing a wonderful breakdown of a Beach Boys song. Deke Dickerson was the master of ceremonies and a performer as well. More on him. Dale Watson performed. The Honky Tonk Wranglers performed, and they are a phenomenal new band, I believe from Kentucky. Please don't kill me if I'm wrong, guys. Gosh, there were so many great guitar slingers there. Special shout out to Ed and Evan Conway from the East Coast. They opened up the show. Good on them. And let me see, but right before them, some certain weirdos walked on the stage with Deke to help him with Ghost Riders in the Sky. Yes, it was yours truly, a vocalist with no talent in his fingers whatsoever for the fretboard. We got to sing that in spooky three-part harmony behind Deke himself. We had Xander on stage, and god damn it, I can't remember who was drumming right then and there. I'm sorry, I was too nervous. What can I say? But I think we pulled it off anyway. We did well enough that another Texas legend from High Noon, Mr. Sean Young, came over and grabbed us and said, dudes, I need some vocal backing for this track I'm going to play out there, a wonderful new Surf Exotic song. And so we went out again. We sang two songs off the cuff for the Guitar Geek show, for God's sakes. And then we got out of there and hung out backstage listening to Eddie Clendenning and Dale Watson and Celine Lee regale us with horrible, horrible, scary stories of touring and drinking way too much, and certain stories of pig anatomy, pickled pig anatomy. I'm not going to say what kind, so I'll leave it to you. All right, that was Saturday night for me. I bopped a little bit, I danced to the DJs, and then I passed out. Sunday was a day of stagger around and figure out what's going on, connect with friends, get a bite to eat. I got a bite to eat earlier in the week with Francine of Sammy and Francine of Long Beach, Sweet Pea from the Seattle, and Roy Wilson, a first responder from 9/11, New York City, and a wonderful guitar player with the New York band, the Buzzards. And I had moments like that throughout the entire weekend where I reunited. It's a really big family reunion for me when I go there. I got married there in 2007, so you've got people who have known me as single, dating, and happily wed. It's crazy to see how these people and this lifestyle has affected my life, if you will. So on Sunday, the big first musical thing that I caught was Willie Berry, my friend from Maryland, who fronts the band the Rockasonics, playing a impromptu jam of country bop and hillbilly stuff in the vendor's room next to Big Ed's record stand. Big Ed is a Long Beach tradition, and he's been setting up, I believe, since Viva #1 and selling you 45s, LPs, and CDs, compilations especially, of great stuff to learn the good roots music on. Shout out Big Ed. But Willie was on fire, and he had guys up there playing with him that were so phenomenal that I just met the night before and really connected with, that I can't wait to find on Facebook and friend request. So I was given some background harmonies, as were a bunch of people watching, and Willie had to call my ass on up and make me sound like a fool, and I tried to demur, but Big Ed smiled his crooked end and said, "Mo, get on up there." And so I sang a couple tunes with Willie Berry and his pals, and it was phenomenal fun. I do love connecting over a good six string, a four string upright bass, and maybe another six string on rhythm. And vocal harmonies from the audience doesn't hurt. From there, I went to the Hillbilly Fest, but also run by Deke Dickerson and my good pal Dave Stuckey. Check the video vlog interview series that I do with Shannon Mack, where we interviewed Dave Stuckey a few months back. He's a wonderful musical historian and performer, and him and Deke have been the Dave and Deke combo for many a decade now. On and off, they come around and show up and put up a great show that's reminiscent of a couple episodes of Hee Haw thrown together. It's phenomenally great. The special classic performer this year was, for the second time in 3 years, Miss Mimi Roman. She's a wonderful little sprite of a hillbilly bopping girl who was a winner of the Arthur Godfrey TV talent show contest out of Brooklyn, New York, singing hillbilly stuff. And she was a cutie gem back there, and a wonderful, feisty, spicy little young lady of 90 plus years of age, performing with all of her heart and gumption on Sunday afternoon, or early evening, I should say. It was wonderful. After I got out of there, and there were so many wonderful performers up there. Willie Berry showed up again. The Wranglers showed up again. Stuckey was up there as well, doing a lot of jokes. Shorty Poole. Shout out to Bobby Trimble, or Booger, on drums there. Shout out. And then I went off upstairs into the Bienville room to sneak backstage and watch with my jaw open as Saudia Young from the East Coast tore it up. Girl, I just really got to know Saudia over the last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing her this Friday night at the Burbank Moose Lodge. If anyone watching is local and in town, go up to the Burbank Moose Lodge for some great R&B blues in the style of Etta James, who I keep name dropping. Yeah, around 8 o'clock Friday night, Burbank Moose Lodge, Saudia Young. She's wonderful. She's a wonderful person. Last thing I did was make a few purchases, buy a t-shirt. You know, I got to get something to bring home. I got special love for the outfit I was wearing that night because my wonderful friend of almost 30 years, Serena Sciotto, I hope I said that right. I'm trying to pronounce her name correctly. It's Italian. I knew her from the swing dancing days of the Derby back in Los Angeles. Gave me a jacket that she swears hasn't been worn in 20 years and that belonged to her father. So she was first generation, first family of owners, and she gave me a Ricky jacket by the label Webb out of JC. That was the producing company. And it was a phenomenal piece of clothing, and I was offered by an unnamed source several $1,000s for it, cash, right away. But I loved its bright yellow color and its vented back pockets of black and white stripes, matching the collar and the cuffs and the buttons. It's a phenomenal piece. I've never been gifted something like that for free. My win. I'm very honored that I got to wear that for 2 out of the nights that I was in Vegas. And I mention it now because I was next invited to go up on stage with gentlemen of a swing dancing nature from the UK who are known for their bright, bright yellow outfits that they play as they bounce around like rubber balls on the main stage at Viva and many other places around the world, from Australia to Timbuktu to Singapore to Iceland, I'm sure. The Jive Aces. The Jive Aces are lads that I have known for a couple years now. They play 300 shows a year. They do 2 shows in 2 different locations in one night, some nights, if they just happened to feel energetic and have taken their vitamins, I guess. Anyway, they told me to come on up on stage and lend some background vocals for their last song as the last band on the main stage at the festival. And everybody who was in attendance got to see that I was not alone. There were about 30 other wonderfully talented people backstage, from Laura Palmer from the Screaming Rebel Angels and Saudia Young to Angela Teeny and to Mozzie D, to the KZC sisters. Cliff Kwan, my fellow Dynaflow, was there. So many others. I couldn't name everybody because there were just too many heads to count. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to flood the stage. And that we did. For the last encore, all of us came up and went on stage. There was not enough room to stand. So I went and stood on the drum riser right behind. And you did the whole theatrical thing of you got to jump jive and then you wail. And we'd all jump at the certain time. And, boy, my toes were barking, I tell you. But the microphone was passed off to Laura Palmer from Screaming Rebel Angels. She did a verse. She knocked it out of the park. She gave it back. There was a couple solos. And then they turned around and looked at me and said, "Hey, how about Little Mo?" And this half jive ace in yellow came down to a roar of a crowd, and I got to do a verse for the last song of the last set of the last band for Viva Las Vegas 29. Amazing. An honor. And I want to thank the Jive Aces with all my heart. I can't wait for us all to get together and do a show together, say at the Summer Jamboree in Italy or something like that. Wouldn't that be a treat? My goodness. Anyway, after that, people staggered off to say goodbye, give hugs, catch maybe a last meal downstairs in the food court. And we checked out and we drove home with ease the next afternoon. This video is way too long, but I felt I had to cover so many bases, and I am always talking about movie posters. My other love is music. Singing it, performing it, getting paid for it, that's always nice, but it doesn't always happen. It doesn't matter. What it is, it's the experience. The ultimate high. Getting to find harmony through vocals and a crowd reaction from singing any kind of roots music. Whether it was punk rock back in my youth or, swing during the swing days. And I've had bands that are country swing and doo-wop and rockabilly, which are currently available for booking right now. I'll stop talking so you can get on to your next video here on this channel. Please drop a comment if you feel like it. Let me know what your thoughts were if you went to Viva. Let me know who you'd like to see performing next year. We'll just get that ball rolling because it's only been 2 days since the whole show was finished. They need to know, and they need to know right away. I'm working on making these videos better. I'm going to see what I can do about learning how to edit, because everything is in one take right now if you hadn't noticed. I'm working on getting my weird eyeballs to actually focus in on that little light of a camera at the top of the computer. If you've noticed, I'm not quite really professional just yet, but my heart is in the right place. Thank you for listening to me babble. If you made it all the way through this, I can't believe this made it over 16 minutes. Take care of yourself, and I will see you again really soon Maybe we'll talk music. Maybe we'll talk film posters. Maybe we'll do something different. Take care, y'all. Be safe, be well.